Joe, for encouraging us and supporting us. And I know that God speaks to me, because if it wasn't him pushing some of us, I'm sure I'm very comfortable standing behind chairs and behind. And I'm definitely one of them. Hallelujah. Thank God for the minister. Thank God for Minister Charles, the minister that supports missions, for all your help, your support, your encouragement. Thank God for missions team. I'm so blessed to have a wonderful team. Very supportive, very passionate about missions, and the entire church, because we will never do missions without your support. And I know that God, who has birthed that in you, will make it grow and bear fruit. Hallelujah. We bless the Lord. The kindness of God. God is kind and faithful. And because he's kind, you and I are still here. Because if it wasn't his kindness, if it was the wrath God, honestly, none of us would stand in front here and be alive. But because of his kindness, because of his love, because of his faithfulness for us, he has kept us alive. You know, I just looked up, let me take the time. I just looked up the meaning of kindness, and it is the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate. To me, the way I look at kindness is caring, is tender-hearted, is compassionate. You cannot be kind and not show love. And because God loved us so much that he gave, that kindness to show that even when we're still sinners, is what he expects from us. Hallelujah. So if you turn with me to Romans chapter 2. Romans chapter 2, verse 4. In the NLT, please. Don't you see how wonderful, kind, tolerant, and patient God is with you? Does this mean nothing to you? This is Paul now saying to the Romans. Can't you see that his kindness is intended to turn you from your sins? So God's kindness convicts us to strive to be like him, convicts us to hate sin, convicts us to do what is right, convicts us to be like him. Hallelujah. And then what I love about Titus, in Titus 3, chapter 3, verses 3 to 8. And once we too were foolish and disobedient, we were misled and became slaves to many lusts and pleasures. Our lives were full of evil and envy, and we hated each other. But when God, our Savior, revealed his kindness and his love, he saved us. Not because of the righteous things that we had done, but because of his mercy. He washed away our sins, giving us a new birth and a new life through the Holy Spirit. He generously poured out the Spirit upon us through Jesus Christ, our Savior. Because of his grace, he made us right in his sight and gave us confidence that we will inherit eternal life. This is the trustworthy saying, and I want you to insist on this teaching so that all who trust in God will devote themselves to doing good. These teachings are good and be beneficial to everyone. So, yet when we're still sinners, God loved us. He was kind to us. He showed his kindness. So, you know, when we remember the parable in Matthew chapter, I think it's chapter 18 of the vineyard, you know, he forgave the servant and said, no. He forgave the servant to pay him back the money he lent to him. But when the servant left, he didn't forgive the person that owed him, and then he demanded the money back. And when the owner learned of that, he called him back and said, because you have been wicked and you've not forgiven your friend, so will you pay the money back, or else I'll send you back I'll lock you up. And this shows us that if God has given us showed us kindness, you know, sometimes we look at these parables and think, no, it's not me. That is not about me at all. But if that kindness that God has shown us, you yourself or myself don't show it to others, God will do the same for us. Hallelujah. And how is God kind to us? How does God show us kindness? You know, he pardons our sins, as I've just said. He provides for all our needs. Everything that we ever needed, he has provided. You know, sometimes we think it's our hard work that gives us whatever we have, but it's only the kinds of God. When you think of how much people work and have, and yet they don't have the gift of life. It makes you, be thankful to God and be grateful. If you turn with me to Philippians chapter 4, verse 19. All of us quote this verse and we know it very well, and we quote, God will supply, as Paul said, God will supply all your needs according to his riches in glory. But if you look back, why Paul pronounced that over the Philippians, then you will not just say it lightly. You will look back and say, have I given? Have I supported the man of God? Have I supported the calling of the man of God? Then I will receive. In verse, hold on, let me get to the Philippians chapter 4, verse 19. Verse 19. I'm going back to verse 15. Now ye Philippians know also that in the beginning of the gospel, when I departed from Macedonia, no church committed with me as concerning giving and receiving, but ye only. For even in Thessalonica ye sent once and again unto my necessities, not because I desire a gift, but I desire fruit that may abound to your account. Then now he, 18, but I have all and abound. I'm full, having received of the Epaphroditus, the things which you sent to me, an odor of a sweet smell, a sacrifice acceptable, well pleasing to God. It came from a good heart, a kind heart, a loving heart. And then he says, verse 19, but my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches in glory. So none of us should qualify to claim this verse unless you give to something, unless you give to someone, unless you help someone, unless you show kindness to someone. So I believe this church, and I totally believe, and I stand as a witness, we all give. So we belong to this verse that the Lord will supply all our needs. That's because of his kindness according to his riches in God. Then go to Romans 8:32. That he who did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all, how will he not also with him graciously give us all things? So I'm saying that God answers our prayers. God is kind enough to answer our prayers. And in the second one, I'll say that he provides for all our needs. Anything that we, not our wants, our needs. If God knows what we need, he will supply it. And then the third I've put down is protects us from all times of danger. Whenever, I think it was in Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 27. Deuteronomy chapter 33. He protects us. He watches over us. He's always with us. The eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath is everlasting arms. When you think of anywhere you go, that underneath, God is holding me. I will not fall. He goes before me. He protects us. He watches over us. Even the way you woke up and came to work today, God had already gone before you. When you think sometimes I walk very far. I drive from Seskegnes, and I get home, and honestly, I park my car, and I don't know how I've driven from there to my house. But because God's protection is over me, he leads me all the way on the motorways. He protects us. He watches over us. He protects our children. In our places of work, there's sometimes that we work with wicked people. They can prepare something, but because God is with us, he will protect us. Hallelujah. Because of his kindness. Also because of him, we're so good, or because we're so holy, or because we're so righteous, but because he is a kind God. Hallelujah. And then the last bit I put, he answers our prayers according to his kindness, according to his riches in glory. In 1 John chapter 5, verse 14 and 15 says, and this is the confidence that we have in him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have petition, that we have the petition we desired from him. And then Jeremiah 29:12 said, then shall we call upon, then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken to you. NLT says, I will listen to you. I will hear you. Hallelujah. And my main thing is, if God is kind to us, then we have to be kind to others. If we are created in his image, as in Genesis 1:27 says, that he created us in his own image, what we show, what we are, should be like God. God is kind, so we are supposed to be kind. Hallelujah. In John 15, it says that I am the vine and you are the branches. So if the vine is kind, the branch has to be kind. And when he says, if the branch does not bear any fruit, what does he do to it? Does he keep it? No, he prunes it. So kindness has to be in us. We have to show kindness because our God is kind. Our God is good to us. Hallelujah. Kindness, I've written here, kindness is a natural trait of a believer. It's built in us because God lives in us. There's something in us that is automatically sensitive to somebody's need. If you pass someone in need and you're not sensitive to their need, then go back and ask God, where have I got it wrong? Where am I positioned? We're supposed to be sensitive. We're supposed to be moved by compassion when we see anyone in need. And because we're born again, we're spirit-filled, we're children of God, we shine for him, we're salt of the earth. Kindness just flows from us. And the people around us should see it and they should feed from it. Hallelujah. In Galatians 5, God talks of, Jesus talks of the fruits of the Spirit. In Galatians chapter 5 from verse 19. I thought it would be easier for me to do it this way, so I don't have to keep looking back. Galatians chapter 5, verses 19 to 26. When you follow the desires of your sinful nature, the results are very clear. Sexual immorality, impurity, lustful pleasures, idolatry, sorcery, hostility, quarreling, jealousy, outbursts of anger, selfish ambitions, division, envy, drunkenness, wild parties. I'll get to verse 22. But the Holy Spirit produces this kind of fruit in our lives. And that is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. There is no law against these things. Those who belong to Christ Jesus have nailed the passions of the desires of their sinful nature to the cross and crucified them there. Since we are living by the Spirit, let us follow the Spirit's leading in every part of our lives. Let us not become conceited or provoke one another or be jealous of one another. Just telling us that, if we are to bear the fruit of the Spirit, the first verses, nothing should be seen in us. But because we've got the Spirit of God in us, he lives in us. The Spirit of God bears witness of us. Kindness should fall from us. Goodness, joy, peace, love. And that is all that is supposed to flow from us. And people have to see us. If they're to see Christ, Christ is love, Christ is kindness, Christ is joy, Christ is peace, then they should only see those fruits in us. Hallelujah. In Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31 and 32. So it's the same way. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, harsh words, and slander, as well as all types of evil behavior. Instead, be kind to each other, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, just as God, through Christ, has forgiven us. We've got to be tender-hearted. What tender-hearted means, if you've bruised your skin and you touch it, it's more sensitive to pain than when your skin is healthy. So our hearts are supposed to be sensitive to the pain, that if there's any pain, any lack, any need that we see, we have to feel it. It has to touch us. It has to affect us, and it has to cause us to move. So when you're touched, and it hurts you, you don't push your hand there, you move it. Tender-hearted, the way I've meditated on it is That is how pain is supposed to make us our hearts. That we're supposed to move. We're not supposed to stand and ignore. We are supposed to move. We are supposed to act. We're supposed to show love. We're supposed to contribute. We're supposed to go on our knees and pray. Hallelujah. So I believe that as children of God, spirit-filled, loving God, known by Christ, our books are written. We always think, I am a child of God. We have to show kindness to others. Hallelujah. And I wrote here that kindness is not just a saying. You have to act it. You have to show. You can't just say that I'm kind, I'm loving, and your actions are saying are the other way. So kindness has to be followed with action. If you go to 1 John chapter 3, verse 18, please. It's NLT, please. First John chapter 3. Dear children, let's not merely say that we love each other. Let us show the truth by our actions. Our actions have to tally with our words. If I say I love you and your actions don't show, what's saying that our actions have to tally with the word. Let's just not say that I love you, but let our actions show that we love. If you check again in Zechariah chapter 7, verses 9 to 10. Verses 7, chapter 7, verses 9 and 10. This is what the Lord of Heaven's army said. Judge fairly, show mercy and kindness to one another. Do not oppress widows, orphans, foreigners, and the poor, and do not scheme against each other. It says, show mercy and kindness. So everywhere we go, mercy and kindness has to follow us. Hallelujah. And the last verse I've got is James, and this is the verse. James chapter 2, verses 14 and 16. James chapter 2, verses 14 and 16. It's in NLT again. What good is it, dear brethren and sisters, if you say you have faith, but do not show it by your actions? Can that kind of faith save anyone? Suppose you see a brother or a sister who has no food or clothing, and you say goodbye and have a good day. Stay warm and eat well. But then you don't give that person any food or clothing. What good does that mean? Faith without action. So it just continues to tell us that we as a church, as we have heard the word, we are so blessed to be in a church like this. The word we have to go out and practice it. It just reminds me in Deuteronomy 33, why we belong to Elim. It's a very prophetic ministry. Elim, when the Israelites were walking through, they were going through the wilderness, they went to a place called Mora, dry water, bitter water, nothing good. And they complained and complained, moved on, and they went to Elim. I think it's in Deuteronomy 33, 7 or 9. That is in Deuteronomy 33. But when they got to Elim, there was 12 oases of water, and there was palm tree. So they came hungry, they came thirsty, they came tired. They just needed rest. And when they got to Elim, there was 12 oases of water. They drank, they were refreshed, they rested. Elim, wherever you go as a servant, as a partner of Elim, when people come to you, there has to be something that you give to them. There has to be that living water. Like how Jesus told the woman, if you knew who you're talking to, he is the stream. You will ask for that living water, and you will never thirst again. That living water, and even the prophetic ministry we belong to, should flow from you. That anywhere you go, at the places of work, that oasis of peace, of joy, of kindness will flow from you. Hallelujah. So when you meet your brother and sister and you know they need something, and you say, no, Lord, I've only got 10 pounds, but you've got food in the fridge. They don't have food. Just give it. Just give it. I'm a testimony. And my kids say, Mom, you give too much. But sometimes I say, but Mom, I know why you give. Don't wait to have plenty to give. Giving has to be sacrificial. There's something that has to cost you for you to give. If you're going to give, you have £100 and you give £1, that's not giving. If you have £10 and you know that is all I got, and you trust God and you give, you will see how God multiplies it. Hallelujah. Amen. It says, I wrote here that you can have a kind attitude towards someone, but for you to be kind, you have to be truly kind. You've got to move. You've got to help them. You've got to show them love. In 1 Corinthians it says, love is kind. So if we love others, we have to be kind for others. And I've written here that genuine kindness is lending your hand and not expecting anything back. Like you give. That is in the world it says when you give, you lose. But in the things of God, when you give, you receive. When you give, you receive. If you hold back, I remember, I think it was, I don't know if it's maybe shared our Minister Charles in the week, that, stretch your hands out. Hold your hands out to the poor, to the needy. Once you open up, if you crunch, you can't get anything. But if you open up and give, God will fill your hands. Hallelujah. I've written here that you can be kind to someone. You can do good to someone and not be kind. I'm sure some of us who grew up in Africa, anyone, you've seen it. Say if you're in your family, you're the most disadvantaged in the family. Sometimes the rich want to come and take you, to come and live with them. They've done a kind act. It's a good thing to do. But when you get there, the way they treat you, sometimes you say, I would rather go back to the village where I was and fetch water and live and sleep on the floor. Why? They've done a good act, but they've not shown kindness. So when we're doing a good act, kindness has to follow with it. And my prayer is our good work will not be destroyed by our unkindness. That if the good things that we do in this church, in your lives, in your homes, and let me tell you one thing, kindness starts from your home. If you're not kind to your wife, if you're not kind to your husband, if you're not kind to your children, and then you come out in the church and you show kindness to others, then you lie to yourself. Kindness starts from the people we love, from our families, from our home. Show kindness in the church. If we're going to give up kindness, it has to start from where we belong here. So I believe that all of us from now on, you'll have a kind word to say to someone. You'll have a kind act to show to someone. You'll stretch out and reach out to one another. Hallelujah. You cannot separate kindness and love. The two go together. Hallelujah. And sometimes, we live in a very wicked world that these days, when you show kindness, people are suspicious. Because people are not used to being shown kindness. They will resent it. They'll be suspicious. They'll draw back. But you know what? With that kind of people, show more kindness. Show more love. I'm sure some of you, especially for the community initiative, I've seen it when I used to go to Haven. When we first went, they would just come and go. Because they were not used to that kind of love, that kind of genuine love, and showing kindness. But if you persist, and you show more love to them, and you show more kindness to them, and you avail yourself to them, and you give your time to them, you pray for them more, they will open up, and you see it will bring change. Kindness is a weapon that all of us have. At your place of work, how do you react to someone that doesn't show you kindness? Someone who's horrible to you. If you show love and you show kindness, I'm telling you, even a wicked person will change. Hallelujah. So, my prayer for us is that kindness will come out of us and people outside will see kindness shown in us. Hallelujah. Amen. Amen. You know, I've written here that kindness will bring about progressive healing to the wounded hearts, to the lonely, to the disadvantaged, to the abused, to the deserted, to the lonely. It does change the atmosphere. Hallelujah. You know, Paul in Jeremiah, I think it's somewhere in Jeremiah, it says, man's heart is desperately wicked. So man, when you wake up, you just think of evil. But when you go to Colossians, go with me to Colossians chapter 3, verse 12. Colossians chapter 3, verse 12. Hallelujah. Colossians chapter 3, verse 12. It says, since God chose you to be the holy people, He loves you. You must clothe yourself with tender-hearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience. You've got to clothe yourself. You have. So when you wake up in the morning, you or myself, you have to be deliberate. It's a choice. I have to choose. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to show love. This morning I said, God, I'm going to show kindness. I am going to give to a good cause. You have to wear it. No one will put it on you. You yourself and myself have to wear it. Put on kindness, mercy. So it's deliberate, it's intentional, but it's also a choice. You can choose to show kindness. Even if anyone doesn't show you kindness, you yourself should choose to show kindness. Hallelujah. And if we also look at Proverbs 3, verses 3 to 4. Proverbs 3, verses 3 to 4. Never let loyalty and kindness leave you. Never let loyalty and kindness leave you. Tie them round your neck as a reminder. Write them deep within your heart. Then you will find favor with both God and people, and you will earn a good reputation. Tie it round your neck. Let kindness be close to you. Let it be round your neck. Let it be, like that when you don't have it round your neck, you can't even turn your neck. Let kindness be around your neck. Let it be in your heart. You know, if we're children of God, spirit-filled, kindness is just part of us. Let your heart be full of it. Be deliberate. I've written here. When you wake up in the morning, make up a choice that you're going to be kind. You're going to show kindness to someone. You're going to show love to someone. Be deliberate and be intentional about it. In 2 Corinthians 6:6, it just reinforces it that it is personal. It's your choice. You know, we prove ourselves. You and me, we prove ourselves by our purity, our understanding, our patience, our kindness, by the Holy Spirit within us, and by our sincere love. We prove ourselves. So kindness is a personal thing. It's your choice. You decide. And I tell you, if you choose kindness, you will live in peace. And there's so many rewards that we're going to talk about in Newton, that when you show kindness, it carries on in your generations. You know, Pastor, when Pastor kept saying it, I said, as he's in my message that I'm going to preach, you know, like when David, when he said, is there anyone in the house of Saul that I can show kindness? Saul was already, Jonathan was already gone. But the kindness he showed to Moses was still bearing fruit from generation to generation. Rahab the harlot, people would have looked at her and said, oh, she's a harlot, she's a prostitute. But because of an act of kindness, she is named in the book of faith. You know, so God, I say, God, how do you work? You know, God, when you show kindness, God will always be with you. Hallelujah. So, I'm written here that we are children of God, walking in the light, filled with the Holy Spirit. God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit lives in us. And we bear the marks of Him. We produce the fruits of the Spirit. Our human nature has been replaced with God's nature. And that is the kindness of God. So that's why when we come to showing kindness, we are champions and we are leaders. And I pray that from now on, and even as you give today, give with a kind heart. Know that I am created as a child of God. Kindness is part of me. I am what I'm known for. As a church, we are known for our kindness, for our love. So let us show, as we have seen that our actions have to show that we're not only saying that we are kind church, we are loving church, we are generous church, but we have to show with our giving. Missions, we need God, but we need finances. Everywhere we go, when pastor is going, we need money to pay for his ticket, to pay for his accommodation. We never charge any place that we go to. So as you give, just remember that you're not giving for yourself, but you're giving to enhance the kingdom of God. You're giving to fulfill that which is in you, the passion in you, the love in you. Hallelujah. And my prayer is that we teach our children to show kindness. Because when they grow up, the seed we sow in them will grow and germinate. When they go to school, when they find children in trouble, our kids will be marked out because of their kind-hearted. Show your children kind. When they quarrel between them, when some of us African parents, we are so used to shouting, talk to them. Talk to them that when you're kind, when you give a kind answer, even if your brother is shouting, give him a calm. My family has taught me, my eldest son, Marvin, he's the softest of the family. Sometimes Natasha and John will be shouting, and hear me, why are you two shouting? Your brother and a sister. That kindness that flows in our home, bring it in your home. So that when the children go out, that kindness will be shown in their schools, in their places of work when they grow, in this church. So my prayer is that as you give unto the Lord. Do it unto the Lord. That as you've seen all these clips, that is because of our kindness, of our giving, that many people have benefited. Be a conduit of God's answers, that God has used you to answer someone's prayer, someone who's been praying for something. I remembered when I went to Uganda as I finished, that little boy you saw that graduated, he made the whole church cry. That he never knew that he would ever go to school. They were in the village, and if this man of God hadn't listened to the voice of God to go to that village, that family would have stayed there. The children would never go to school. But he had, and he went. They didn't even know where they were going. The people were asking him, where are we going? He just said, well, let's just go. They got in the car, they drove. And they were straight away, and he just said, this is the house. And when they got in the house, there were 7 children. And the woman was just saying, all we do is pray. We just get people from the village to give us food, and that's how we survived. Ever since the father died, the family took everything, and they left out 7 children. And the pastor took on the children, and because of our giving, these kids were able to go to school. And when he graduated, he says, go back to the church and tell them that I'm so grateful. Because of their giving, I've now graduated as a doctor. And he told the pastor, from today, don't help my siblings. I will help my siblings. I'll pay for their fees. Even if my whole salary goes, I will support them. What we give, we may think it's a small thing, but when it reaches to the person in need, it's an answered prayer and bear fruit. And my prayer is that we'll grow in our giving, in our kindness. God bless you.